Okay, so once again, good morning everyone. So today we're going to discuss about as analyzing culture. Analyzing culture, which is a continuation of our discussion sa defining culture and society na cover ng module number 3. Okay, but before we move on with the discussion, let us have a short peek about our past lesson. Okay? We discussed first about the different objective that we need to when it comes on studying about defining the culture and society, which are to identify the nature and dynamics of culture and society, to distinguish the key features of the three major approaches to the study of culture, and to determine how society and its institution shape. So, from the overview of our first discussion, it is said that studies show that culture is not only present in human beings but also in different species. Let's say for example, yung mga nasa animal kingdom, sa chimpanzees and other primates. Okay? So, habang tong pag-aaral na to is until now ongoing pa rin siya. People can learn many things like to transmit what they have learned from one culture to another, from generation to generation, and even control their environment. We also discuss about the society and culture and its differences. And it is said here that society refers to the group of people that is sharing a common territory, language, culture, and an individual who act together, okay, for collective survival and well-being. Okay? Pag sinabi naman nating culture, that is the product of a society. A certain characteristic, or it is characterized uh, by values and traits, okay, beliefs that has been implemented by the society. Okay? So, from the social reproduction or how societies persist, binanggit din dito yung the two types of institution that reproduce the condition of social life, which are the ideological state apparatus and repressive state apparatus. It is also, we also discuss that culture is the complex whole which includes the beliefs, the practices, the values, the attitudes, laws, norms, and artifacts, even the symbols, the knowledge, and everything that a person learned and share to the members of the society. Okay? So, a culture can be an idea, can be an activity, or an artifact. Okay? And according to Taylor, from her study, uh, a culture can be learned, or ang culture daw is pwedeng matutunan. Okay? It is not transmit biologically or by genes, but pwede siyang matutunan from our parents, from our peers, from teachers, and from other leaders, religious leaders, team leaders, sa school, 'di ba? Maraming paraan para matutunan natin yung culture. A culture can be shared, and wherein every individual endowed with critical mind to understand things as well as to cultivate his or her own value. A culture can be symbolic because often manifested, or it is often manifested by language, where in meanings are socially constructed. Okay? So according to the study of Ellen Rudolph, pinag-aralan niya yung how do Japanese represent their language. And according to her study, that women are more polite, okay, when it comes on interpreting her language. Okay? So, let us now proceed with analyzing the culture. The study of culture is a vast, complex task. Meaning to say, it has a wide array of, meaning. A wide array of tasks. And there are so many aspects of culture. Although, many are widely accepted, merong mga klase ng pag-aaral tungkol sa, or maraming theory o pag-aaral tungkol sa culture ang hindi tinatanggap, okay, ng mga sociologist or hindi agree yung mga sociologist. It is because that analyzing the culture can be examined from these three of the most common theoretical approaches. Okay? Yung number one, yung tinatawag nating structural functional theory. When we say structural functional theory, this approach views the society as a complex and interconnected system. Okay? So, pinapakita nito yung structural functional theory na yung tao daw as a member of a society is a complex at they were interconnected with one another. Okay? Parang halimbawa nito yung katawan natin bilang tao. Yung katawan natin, yung iba't ibang parte ng katawan natin, like yung limbs natin, yung organs natin, and other parts, may kanya-kanyang function yan. But eventually, those parts of our body work together in order to create a fully functioning system. Same with structural functioning theory. Okay? The members of the society, the people of the society work together even if they have or we have different knowledge, we have different perspective, we have different limitations and shortcomings, pero we work together, we were interconnected with one another in order for us to create a fully functioning system. Let's say, for example, ang AICS, diba? So, the teachers of the AICS and the management of AICS, magkakaiba yan eh. Iba-ibang tao yan eh. Diba? But, para maihatid yung education system para sa inyong mga estudyante, the people behind AICS, the teachers, the faculty members, the management, diba, the admin, work together. Okay? So, isa yun sa mga halimbawa ng structural functional theory. Next one is we have here the social conflict theory. Guys, sa social conflict theory, dito pumapasok yung cultural traits that always benefit some members of the society more than others. Okay? Yung privilege ba na tinatawag. Okay? This theory is all about inequality. There is an inequality. Para bang halimbawa ganito, ako ay nagtatrabaho sa mall bilang manager. Mas mataas yung sweldo ko kaysa sa bagger, sa cashier, kasi ang trabaho ko, manager. Sila, cashier, at saka bagger. 'Di ba? So, yung rate pa lang, yung difference ng rate namin is magkaiba. So, mas may anong tawag dito? Yun, nandun na pumapasok yung inequality. 'Di ba? O halimbawa na lamang, yung capitalist in the society or yung mga entrepreneurs na tinatawag. 'Di ba? Mas binibigyan nila ng value yung tinatawag na competitiveness and material wealth. Kasi they will take benefit from it. 'Di ba? Nagtayo sila ng negosyo nila kasi alam nila na may benefit yun sa kanila. Kikita sila ng pera. 'Di ba? At magiging successful sila doon kapag pinagtuunan nila. While may mga tao, they will do the leverage. Pag sinabing leverage is, anong tawag dito? Taking other people to work for you eh. Sila yung maggagawa ng pera para sa'yo. So they will do the leverage of other people that will work for them to earn money. Okay? So this result in drastic contrast between richest and the poorest members of the society. 'Di ba? Parang yung social conflict theory is naging ano siya, yung contradiction from the poorest and richest members of the society. 'Di ba? Kaya nga madalas naririnig natin na yung mga mayayaman daw lalong yumayaman. Tama ba? Pagka meron tayong mga naririnig sa mga kapitbahay natin, pagka nag-uumpukan sila, 'di ba? Yung mga mahihirap daw lalong humihirap. Alam nyo, it is because of the mindset eh. Sa mindset kasi yan. Kaya ganun ang nangyayari. Bakit? The richest people or the rich people, in order for them to become effective, may mga ginagawa sila para mag-succeed sila sa pinili nilang field. While some of the poorest members of the society, meron din silang ginagawa that, alam niyo yung nagiging, kaya mas lalong nagiging negative yung effect sa kanila. 'Di ba? So, same with us. No? Ganun din tayo. Nangyayari din po yun sa atin. Okay? So, from that social conflict theory, ipinapakita that there is a difference in between the benefits, okay, from one people to another. 'Di ba? Okay. Nasusundan niyo po ba ako? Baka may gusto kayong i-add sa social conflict theory. Okay, wala na. Next, sociobiology. Sa sociobiology naman, this proposes the culture that is not only socially constructed but also affected by human biology. Meaning to say, the culture cannot be passed through genes. 'Di ba? Kasi natututunan siya. According to the sociologists, they theorize that certain cultural behavior have persisted and even evolved over time due to biological impulses. Yung evolvement, yung pag-evolve ng kultura, hindi na ipapasa by genes. Yung sinasabing pag-evolve ng kultura through time because of biological impulses, dito kasi is pinaprioritize yung pagtuturo, ika nga. 'Di ba? And to maximize the reproduction. Parang halimbawa sa isang community. 'Di ba? Hindi naman actually yan na namamana by genes eh. Ipinapamana mismo yung kultura, itinuturo 'yun. 'Di ba? So, it is because in order for a community or the members of the community to survive. 'Di ba? So, some of the sociologists suggest that some elements of culture, particularly yung values tsaka yung behavioral norms, is naiki-create siya o nagawa siya dahil sa instinct ng tao. Pero naka-base pa rin siya sa biology. Okay? So, yun yung tinatawag nating socio-biology. So, those are the three, okay, the three theoretical approaches that used to analyze the culture. Let us now proceed with the different aspects of culture. Ito naman yung iba't ibang aspeto ng culture. Anak, pakibuksan mo nga yung electric fan. Okay. Doon sa kabila. So, number 1 is culture is dynamic, flexible, and adaptive. Pag sinabi nating culture is dynamic, flexible, and adaptive, it is said here that cultural behavior allows people to fit into and adapt to their respective environment. Every individual, as we always said from our discussion, lagi nating nababanggit sa ating discussion, that every individual has a unique way in adapting to change. 'Di ba? Every individual, kahit tayo, no, bawat isa sa atin, is may kakayanang maging flexible sa mga pangyayari na nangyayari sa atin, sa mga events na nangyayari sa buhay natin. To the yung drastic drastic changes in environment, 'di ba? Kahit yung paraan ng pagsusuot natin ng damit, 'di ba? Bakit ba tayo nagsusuot ng damit? In order in order for us to protect our body from the change of climate. Kung malamig, kung mainit, 'di ba? So, they also search that food, or the people also search for food in order to have nourishment and of course to survive. Sa paanong paraan? Merong mga tao na nagtatanim, 'di ba? Nagtatanim, meron namang nagtatrabaho para may pambili ng pagkain. 'Di ba? So maraming paraan ang tao para makasabay o mas maging flexible when it comes on changes. So yung kultura ng tao, okay? Yung kultura na meron tayo, it is dynamic, it is flexible. 'Di ba? So kaya nating mag-adapt whatever it is or whatever changes happen in our culture. Okay, next one we have shared and contested. Sa shared and contested, it is a various or there are various members of society or group that commonly share ideas, activities, and artifacts. Okay? So the behavior of people in a group or society often becomes socially and conventionally standardized in form and manner. So, yung pag-share daw natin ng idea, 'di ba? Pag-share ng culture, nakakapag-provide ito ng order and meaning when it comes on interpreting the behavioral patterns of every individual in a society. So, yung transmission o paglilipat ng kultura is not simply automatic but largely depends on the willingness of people to give and receive. That is shared and contested. Next, number 3 is learning through socialization and enculturation. So, by learning through socialization and enculturation, the behavioral patterns that constitute a specific culture are not genetically or biologically determined. Okay. So, meaning to say, as we have said earlier, no, yung culture natin, yung behavioral patterns na meron tayo ngayon, specifically, yung culture, hindi natin yan namamana by genetics. Natututunan po natin yan. Okay? Halimbawa na lamang yung mga baby. 'Di ba? Yung mga bagong panganak na bata, 'di ba? They have the potential to learn any type of culture. 'Di ba? Depende sa lugar kung saan sila lumaki. 'Di ba? Kahit anong klase ng kultura ang meron sa lugar kung saan siya lumaki, madali niya itong natututunan. Eventually, hanggang paglaki niya, hanggang sa magkapamilya siya, magkasarili siyang pamilya, is madadala niya yun. 'Di ba? So, dito na tayo. If culture stems from race, okay, then changes can occur only as biological forms. So, sa ganitong paraan, and due to practical purposes, directed progress would be impossible. Okay? So, sa ganyang paraan daw, no, yung kultura is maaaring by biological forms. Halimbawa, sa pamilya. Okay? Sa pamilya ko, okay, kung ano yung klase ng kultura na meron yung family namin, yun yung itinuturo namin o yun yung kinalakihan ng anak namin. Eventually, magbabago yan. Kasi, matututo yung anak namin na makisalamuha sa ibang tao, 'di ba? Papasok yan sa school, 'di ba? So, yun po yun. Okay? So, next one is pattern social interaction. Sa pattern social interaction, as common viewed, it implies theory of what we call reciprocity. Pag sinabi nating theory of reciprocity, okay, yun yung bringing back to its original place, 'di ba? It requires complementarily and mutuality of response. Okay? Halimbawa na lamang, a question implies any answer. Diba? A statement implies acknowledgement of the communication and a hostile act that is encountered by alien. Ayan. Any pattern social interaction as inherent characteristic of participants merely give the opportunity to be exposed. And as an emergent, meron siyang tinatawag na sense that arise in interaction as a product. Okay? Next one is integrated and at times unstable. May pagkakataon naman na yung kultura na meron tayo is integrated siya. It could be integrated. Or may time naman na unstable o pwede siyang mabago. Okay? It is because of for some social or society or group, ideas, activities are not only shared, their arrangement more or less fit together and interlock to form a consistent whole. Okay? Halimbawa, yung technology. Diba? A technology has its relationship with social and political patterns. So, there is an integration between the technology and political patterns. There is an integration in between technology and social patterns. Kasi we use the technology. So certainly the various behaviors we observe are different kinds of cultural expressions and are acting, okay, for different reasons and purposes. Okay. Next, number 6 is transmitted through socialization or enculturation. Ayan. So, dito sa transmitted through socialization and enculturation, dito pumapasok yung acquiring of knowledge. Okay? This actually gives off a cultural ideas, okay? Wherein dito rin pumapasok yung mga activities na ginagawa natin. What are the artifacts that has been handed down from generation to generation? And the superorganic inheritance, which means it is inherently passed through generation to generation. So, ibig sabihin nito, yung kultura daw natin, is naipapasa yan from generation to generation. Okay? So, meaning to say, it actually requires every individual or members of the society to learn the culture. Diba? To inherit the activities, the cultural ideas, what are the artifacts na meron sila, what are their beliefs. Diba? Kasi yan naipapasa, naituturo din. Diba? So, number 7 is it requires language and other forms of communication. So, in order for a culture, diba, to be understood by every individual, it requires language and other forms of communication. Kasi, a language is shared set of spoken symbols and rules in meaningful ways. Ayan. So, yung language, guys, is, ito yung, set of spoken symbols. So, minsan, ito ay, karaniwan, okay? Ito ay pinapasa by written, okay? At meron tong iba't ibang paraan, kung paano siya ginagawa, paano na ipapasa yung kultura. 'Di ba? Yung sa Hekasi, nung elementary kayo, 'di ba? Ang nilalaman ng libro na Hekasi yung mga kultura na meron ng Pilipino. Yung history na pinagdaanan ng ating mga katutubo, ng ating mga anong tawag dito? Ninuno. 'Di ba? So, eventually, a language has been called as the storehouse of culture. Okay? So, it is the primary means of capturing, communicating, discussing, changing, and passing shared understanding to new generation to generation. Okay? So, that is our topic with analyzing the culture.